Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, thanks for stopping by. So that last video that I put out got tremendous response. I was shocked, actually, at how many comments I got on it. There's got to be at least a couple hundred. And I read every comment and I reply to as many as I can. And most of them were just great. But there was kind of a common theme, and I thought I might share that with you. So it's a little cool and breezy today in Florida. I guess that cold front decided to dip all the way down into South Florida. You may be hearing some hammering going on today, so I apologize. People are still putting their roofs on, and I'm still trying to get mine repaired. Anyway, I got so many comments. And I was pretty astounded. I mean, some people wrote books. It was just great. And most were, I would say 90% are older riders. We're kind of doing the same thing, kind of finally getting rid of the big bikes and going to something smaller. But I realized there's kind of a stigma to that. It's almost like people are afraid to downsize their motorcycles. And I think it's only coming from Harley riders. The few negative comments I got were definitely Harley riders, and they weren't exactly negative as much as they were, well, condescending maybe. I don't think they're our age, so they don't really understand what's going on. But somehow downsizing to a bike is bad. And I think it's just Harley riders. I know Indian riders, they're not like that, and Honda riders. And if you were to go to Europe, boy, they don't care what you ride over there. 450, 650, Royal Enfields in Britain are real common and real popular. They seem to pick the right bike for where they are. But, I think smaller bikes are just more fun. I'm having some fun on this thing. And I imagine that there's a lot of other people who are downsizing. They're having more fun. You hit the elements with this that you don't hit with the street glides and the road glides. Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with them. I've had 2 road glides and an electric glide, and 2 of the road glides really saved my ass. My 2016, I ran into hurricanes. I was stuck in the middle of twin, actually tornadoes. And that same year, my friend and I went to Sturgis, and we got caught in another hurricane and blew that bike right over. But it was heavy enough that didn't really do any damage. I scraped the crash bar a little bit. Ooh, getting windy. So they have their place. But I remember on the Crush, I had that thing set up so there was no wind. I had a pocket where there was no wind. I could control all the wind. That's how I could do talking on the bike while I'm riding, because I created a pocket. There's so much you can do to keep the air off of you or the air on you. And being a 900-pound bike and rolling down the road, oh man, there's nothing like that. If you're hitting a crosswind, that bike's going to stay stable. And there's something to be said for heavy bikes when you're going a long distance. However, there's something that brings you back to your youth when you have to brave the elements and you got the wind to contend with. The other day I was going over that Skyway Bridge, and that wind was kind of coming over, and I really had to control this thing because it's only 670 pounds. And I was just more in the elements. I had to really look back and grab some of my old riding skills, because I had forgotten what it's like to ride a bike that you really have to control and you really got to watch. And I think there's something when you have to do that, it brings you back to your youth. You know, when we were young, we were riding, well, heck, I was riding 350s, 650s. All my friends were riding 650s or 750 Hondas. And we just had a ball on those things. I think some of the best times in my life were on 650s. When my wife started riding, and I started riding again many years ago, we both bought V-Star 650s, just so I could get back into it. I had been a few years without it. And so we kind of had bikes that were set up similar, and we both, learned to go long distance on those things. And they were okay. We had some real fun on those things. Up in the mountains of Colorado, of course, there's no protection. You get a little snow and you're going to have to pull over. But it was a blast. And these days, I don't know, you're looked down upon if you've downsized. And I didn't get the 114 on purpose. I got the 107. I didn't feel I needed a 114 and heavy power anymore. I'm going to keep this as a stage one. I'm still ordering some parts for this thing. But it's a different kind of riding. It's a style that I guess is more for us older guys. We're kind of putting along. We're not taking corners and doing all those things. And I think the stigma comes from Harley Davidson advertising and pushing all the big bikes. And the STs, which don't get me started on STs. I think they're, well, I won't get into it. But they've hired a bunch of YouTubers that are just building these bikes to 135, 141, got racing, got races of the baggers. I want to know what happened to just the joy of riding. And I think we're losing that. I think we need to get back to it, because it's just become insane how Harley has pushed this image of you're not a real biker unless you've got a street glide or a road glide or some ST of some sort. I really think they should get back to making some smaller bikes, not just for the entry level, but just for guys who want to downsize like me. All they've got here is the Heritage, and the motors are still big. They still got the 114s. I love the 107. I'm doing a couple of things to it just to make the engine run better. But what do you think? Has Harley Davidson, the YouTubers and the Harley guys, created a stigma about downsizing? I think they have. I don't think it's a good thing. I think doing that alone has ruined motorcycle culture. Harley single-handedly has kind of ruined the culture. You probably have a different idea than that, but just as far as the pure enjoyment of riding, I think they've kind of ruined it. Everyone wants to be bigger, better, faster. I simply don't care anymore. I don't care about making sure this engine's 120%. That's not where I'm getting the joy. And I think if we just get back to riding instead of worrying how big your bike is or how loud it is or how fast it is, we'd be much better off as a community. Anyway, let me know what you think. Has Harley ruined it? Have the YouTubers ruined it? Of course, I may be on a quest to change that as a YouTuber. And I'll be doing more videos in the future about just the joy of riding. Just getting out there, getting in the breeze, and getting together with other riders. And riders with smaller bikes, bigger bikes, I don't care. And I would like to find some more riders out there who have downsized. Maybe you're not older. Maybe you just decided, I don't need all this power anymore. My gas mileage sucks. It's loud. It's shaking my teeth. If you're out there, why don't you send me a note in the comments? I'd like to hear your thoughts.